So there's a saying, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. With that being said, I have a couple of tiny titans here, looking to make a name for themselves. The question is, will they be able to do it? Or are they all bark and no bite? I guess you'll find out. All right, we got the XS11 and the XS15. Let's get right into it. Take a look at what we got in this box. Charging cable. USB-C to A, it looks like. And a little bitty clear case. This is going to be fun. And here we got the XS15. Wait. The bigger phone, love that sound. The bigger phone came in the small box. Huh. All right, well. Okay, I feel like I'm getting trolled here, but whatever. Got the little welcome animation. Ugh. That animation, that processor was struggling. Okay, well, I'm assuming the XS11 is in the big box. All right, so what we got in here? Got a little booklet. Wait. No way. It comes with screen protectors and clear cases. All right. So yes, they're doing their thing. That's better than we get out of a lot of unboxings. This thing is tiny. It's like the noisy cricket off the Men in Black. Except for that one words. What is... Okay. Fun fact, these are two of the cheapest cell phones available on Amazon. I picked up each one for right around 50 bucks. So on the back of the phone, it just says smartphone, but I do believe the manufacturer's name is Soyes, and both of these are very similar. With that being said, there are some small differences. For instance, this is the XS15, and this is the XS11. I don't know what happened to 12 through 14. They may exist, they may not, but this is what I saw on Amazon. So design-wise, I think this is dope. Like, it's a pretty decent looking phone for what it is. But with that being said, I have never, ever seen another phone that looks like that. So props to them for being original. Both of these phones look very similar. And for the most part, they are. They're both powered by the 4-core MTK 6580. They both have about 1,000 milliamps of battery. So you're going to get about a similar experience on each one of these. There's not really going to be a big difference. But there are some differences. The XS11 comes in with a 2.5-inch screen, with the resolution being 240 by 432. And for the XS15, it has a 3-inch screen, with the resolution being 480 by 854. Yeah, these numbers are crazy. That's not the only difference. The XS11, 1 gig of RAM. The XS15, 2 gigs of RAM. That may not sound like a lot, but when I was trying to game with these phones, it definitely made a difference. For the cameras, well, they're not mind-blowing numbers. So each of these phones is rocking a 2 megapixel on the back and a 0.3 megapixel camera on the front. So mentally prepare yourself for the images I'm going to show you, because they feel like they're out of like 2005, but you be the judge. Not only that, but we can clearly see where they've taken inspiration. But with that being said, it's just for show. This has one working camera on the back, and the rest are fake. The cameras were okay, especially if you're like outside and you're shooting video, at least on that small screen. Like the minute you transfer it over to a bigger screen, then you really get to see all the imperfections. Or if you're just indoors in general, videos, pictures, it doesn't matter. It's not good for 2025. But in 2005, it was probably standard, maybe. Also, both of these phones are rocking Android 8.1. I did try to update them. It said no, so you got what you got. Now, I gotta give a shout out to Say Yes with these phones because the thought of looking for a screen protector or a case, that's a whole different type of headache. But luckily, we don't have to because each of them shipped with their own clear cases and screen protectors. The battery life is where things get interesting with these phones, and it's hard to get like real concrete details on it. For instance, Amazon says this has a 2000 milliamp battery. However, everywhere else, including Gemini, says that it has a 1000 milliamp battery. And good luck trying to go to the website where they created this phone to get the actual numbers. Like it's hard. But with that being said, we're gonna go with 1000 milliamps because that's what it feels like. For charging speeds, again, just going down the rabbit hole as deep as I could, it looks like each of these has 5-watt charging, USB-C charging, so that's pretty dope too. Charging from 0 to 100 is probably a little under 2 hours, but it doesn't feel terrible. Gaming for these phones has been a very, very ridiculous experience. For instance, neither phone even fit inside the controller that I typically game with. The XS11 only has 1 gig of RAM, so a lot of games don't even pop up for it, the ones that are graphically intense, that is. The XS15, they do work, but it's not exactly the most touch sensitive touchscreen, if you know what I mean. So, racing around a racetrack, I crashed a lot. Yeah. Maybe not gaming on this one. Maybe Tetris or some sort of side scroller, maybe, as long as you don't have to jump over it. I don't know. But just be warned, gaming on this phone is wild. While I do, and I mean I really do appreciate them giving us a screen protector and a case and a charging cable right out the box with each of these phones. Like the USB A to C charging cable that they gave me felt a little dated, so I went to use my USB C to USB C like I use on all of my other phones, and not one of them worked. It was only their USB A to USB C or any of my USB A to USB Cs. It's weird. I don't know what else to say. That's just weird. And that ain't it. The wildest part of all of this is for the week that I've been using both of these phones, I wasn't able to make one single phone call. Why, you might ask? Well, I took my Verizon SIM card, stuck it in each one of those phones, only to be greeted with some sort of SIM card error. So I figured, update carrier services, do a restart, we're good to go. No, didn't work. Pulled the SIM card out, stuck it in the iPhone, even the Z Fold 6. Now I have no data connection, I have no signal. I actually have to call Verizon and get them to recode my SIM card from their end. So I don't know if it's just a Verizon thing or if the AT&T and T-Mobile people might have better luck, but yeah, that was not cool. That was really not cool. During this past week, I was just fooling around with these phones trying to figure out what could I make these things do, and both of them, not one, even the little one, has split screen multitasking. Now, as much as I want to give them hell for ripping off Apple's design, even the iPhone doesn't have split screen multitasking. Now, with a 2.5-inch screen, I have no clue why you would need it or how it was even remotely usable without fat fingering everything into oblivion, but it's hilarious that these things have split screen multitasking. That made my day. So, in the end, these are two of the cheapest phones you can buy on Amazon, $50 a piece. So, who is this phone for? Like, if you're buying it for kids, and I use that term loosely because I don't have a specific age group in mind, like, they're going to struggle to play games or watch YouTube or be on the internet browser because of the slow processor. So, I guess if all they care about is texting and making phone calls, then they're straight, but. And then again, you're not really worried about them losing it or breaking it at $50. Yeah. I guess if you're the type of person who wants a tiny cell phone, which they do look really cool, and you just need it for the bare minimum, then this is probably the phone for you. But if you just want a cheap cell phone and have a relatively normal experience, I might look elsewhere. But I don't know. With that being said, let me know what you think in the comments. This has definitely been a unique experience. Anyway, as always, take care.